Welcome to Cargo Transportation Masterclass, a fresh start for shippers globally. This is the only online event dedicated to support fellow business owners in transportation industry to bounce back faster after global outbreak. And today I'm thrilled to introduce to you Cathy Roberson. Cathy Roberson is founder and leader at Logistics Trends and Insights company based in Atlanta, Georgia. And Cathy has extensive experience in freight forwarding, working for big companies such as UPS. Welcome, Cathy.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the invitation.
It's our pleasure to have you. Cathy, today we discuss with you impact on warehousing and transportation of goods to consumers and business. What pain points do you solve?
Okay, so I started Logistics Trends and Insights about almost 5 years ago. Prior to that, I'd spent a good bit of time with UPS Supply Chain Solutions. I was part of the team that helped start that subsidiary. And then I went to work with a consulting firm based in Europe. And then I've just finally decided, I want my own business. I've always wanted to have my own business. I dearly love doing research, writing, and so on. So I just decided, let's just go ahead and do it. So I did, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. We do a variety of things. We do a lot of basically market research, whether it's competitive intelligence, new product development, strategy work. We help a number of set businesses that's been around for a while, as well as startups, help develop their strategies going forward, whether it's marketing or the business as a whole. We also are getting ready to publish our very first report for purchase. That, fingers crossed, will be coming out this first week of April. And that's, like I said, we do a multitude of things. I do have a partner, Dean Makuba, who focuses a lot on consulting last mile. That's his area of specialty. And he spent over 30 years with FedEx. So yes, we have a lot of jokes running between the both of us, between UPS and FedEx. As far as pain points in the logistics space, okay, we're experiencing one right now. This pandemic, the coronavirus is there's been shortages of medical equipment and pharmaceuticals, and just moving it from one place to the next, obtaining that necessary transportation, the adequate warehousing, getting it to the places that need it most. That's the biggest pain point, which the overarching pain is managing supply chain risk. That's something that has always been a big pain point for the logistics industry as a whole. We understand that there's risk, but actually managing those risks is difficult. So you can't solve it, but you can certainly mitigate the risk as much as possible. So I think right now that's the major risk we're all facing at the moment. Not to mention toilet paper. Trying to find toilet paper at the grocery store here is next to impossible.
Not only at your side of the world, here we have same issues. Kath, how is warehousing and transportation being impacted during the pandemic on a global scale?
I think on a global scale, right now, this time period that we're in the March, the end of the fourth quarter, we're coming off of what's traditionally a low point, a low point for transportation demand and such, because of the Chinese New Year that occurred back in January. However, problem, as we all know, was the coronavirus hit, and it hit really hard for China. And as a result, that caused a lot of the manufacturing to completely shut down for a longer period of time. They're just now getting back up to speed. Um, Meanwhile, as the pandemic has spread throughout the world, the focus has been more on demand for pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, like I mentioned previously. And it's that type of goods bypassing the warehouses at the moment and going straight to the hospitals, straight to the drugstores where it's needed the most. I think as the pandemic progresses, though, warehousing needs are going to be critical, and particularly as other inventory, what's deemed as non-essential, starts arriving on, to ports. Where are we going to put all this inventory? Inventories, inventory levels have been tight for probably well over a year here, just because of company stockpiling,
Right.
thanks to the tariff situation and such as that. They have been drawn down a bit, but the problem, like you said, is the warehousing space. What are you going to do? So there's a number of options that are out there. I think within the next couple of months, we're going to see that tight warehousing, a warehousing shortage. And there are options such as drop shipping, where one just completely bypasses the warehouse. And I think that, technically speaking, is what we're seeing with medical equipment and such as that. But we also have startups in this space, including an Atlanta-based one here called Stored, S-T-O-R-D. It's a great startup where you could download an app from them, or you can call them directly. They actually they offer space in various warehouses that may not be fully utilized, and you can lease that. You can rent that space if you have like less than container load, or a smaller amount of inventory. So that's certainly an option there. Otherwise, we may have to be renting some of these storage units, which has been known to occur, particularly in the holiday season. So
we start to hear, in particular in Europe, that companies and factories in China are trying to revive their operations. Do you consider once pandemic has passed, business operations will be as usual?
Oh no, I think business is going to it's going to be different.
How?
Well, see, that's a good question. Well, first of all, manufacturing, getting it back up and going at full capacity is going to take a while. So it's not a matter of just flipping a switch and boom, there you go, you're off and running. No, it's certainly not going to happen like that. So you've got to have time to get the manufacturing up to full speed. You've got to have adequate inventory levels. You've got to have your employees in place. But I also think this is emphasizing technology. I think we're going to come out of this as a whole more technologically savvy. Right. We're going to, here in the US, for example, going back to retail, online grocery shopping doesn't represent a very large percentage of grocery shopping as a whole. I think it's going to jump. I think more people are going to start embracing online grocery shopping. I think people are going to embrace more technology solutions, such as what we're using here. With folks working from home, you see a lot more folks embracing Zoom for networking opportunities, for chats such as this. I think automating the warehouse is going to get more emphasis to reduce that human touch as much as possible as well, unfortunately, or maybe, it's a good thing. I'm not sure.
It looks like despite of pandemic, digitalization has already started. But now, just because of pandemic, it will get up the speed.
Oh, I think it will. I think it's really going to accelerate even more so. Uh, just thanks to a lot of what's going on now. Um, and it's proof with us being, most of us working from home, having to work from home, it's proof that, the technology works, and why not? Why not digitize as much as possible?
So true. Cathy, you research extensively companies globally, logistic companies globally. Can you share your insights how we should communicate now with their customers when everyone is so scared of the uncertainty around the coronavirus?
I think you've got to have compassion. You've got to have compassion for everyone throughout the entire supply chain. Communications is so important. Whether it's a combination of email, pick up the phone, and just chat as well. I think communication is very important. From the collaboration perspective, collaboration still needs to be continuing throughout this pandemic. It's needed, particularly just moving much needed goods from one part of the world to the other. Again, just stay in touch with your customers. Let them know that they are valued. Yes. And that they will get together together they'll overcome this. They'll get through this.
Totally agree. What are information sources, in particular small, medium-sized companies should use to make more educated decisions?
That's a good question. I normally would say, let's lean on your logistics provider, your supply chain provider. But a lot of these players don't even have a logistics partner. And so really some of the better sources would be your, oh my goodness, your Chamber of Commerce. Your local Chamber of Commerce. They'll keep you abreast of the latest news in the area, connecting, networking opportunities, and so on. They're a very good resource. They also do compile lists of associations and other information resources, tools, and such for the small to medium-sized business. And for those small to medium-sized businesses that have a lot of transactions on Amazon, eBay, Alibaba's platforms, and so on, those providers are offering updates as well. Flexport, which is a freight forwarder in this space, they do a lot of transportation for these types of businesses. They're also offering a number of good updates as well. And they offer like webinars, emails, and so on. And also social media. Okay, there's a lot of not so good stuff out there on social media, but at the same time, there is quite a bit of good stuff out there. So use your connections on LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on, and learn that way as well. Ask questions out there.
Do you think that now it's a perfect moment to embrace one-on-one communication on the social media for companies?
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. Yes, of course. I'm out on LinkedIn a good bit, and I think that's one of your better tools. And when I see an interesting post, I'll reach out to that person if I don't know them. Just send a message to thank them for it, or to ask for maybe a 15 to 30-minute call to learn more. So yeah, it's possible, and I would strongly encourage it.
In particular now, then certain markets will remain closed longer than the others. So that's why direct connections to the people living and doing business in these countries, that is interest of ours, it is vital. instead of just reading mass media.
Exactly. Get involved. Social media it works best when you get involved, besides just clicking a like, for
Yes.
everything you see. Comment on posts, reach out to them through direct message. There's a lot of groups, LinkedIn groups out there too, that are by industry or interest level. So join some of those as well.
Speaking with you, it looks like it's also time for the companies to reshape their marketing strategies, from paid advertising to being involved and delivering value on the social media, such an event.
Oh yeah. And I think from a marketing strategy point, any strategy, it needs to be reviewed on a regular basis, not just an annual or every 5 years. Oh yeah, let's dust off the strategy document. No, it's an ongoing thing. And yeah, I think social media needs to play a much larger role in marketing, particularly now, like you said.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I saw somewhere where Coca-Cola, for example, has really pulled their advertisements off of TV at them, until this pandemic is over. So I thought that was a really interesting move on their part.
So true. And then it's contagious. Somebody starts a movement and others pick up.
Yes,
as long as it makes sense. Cathy, based on your experience, what are the factors enabling cargo transportation industry to bounce back after market collapse?
Goodness. I think the industry as a whole, they'll bounce back they have good relationships with their customers. That's going to play a big role in this. Not only good relationships with their customers, but also with their supply chain partners. So, as an air freight provider, I may have a partnership with a local trucking firm. Again, there's that communication. How you perform during this pandemic is going to have a lot to say about you afterwards. That's huge. And again, just being mindful of those inventory levels. I strongly suspect that we're going to have an economic downturn. Well, I think we already are in one.
Yes.
I think it's going to be extended even after this pandemic. For how long, nobody really knows for sure. But just making yourself available and working collaboratively and being out on social as well, I think it's going to help a number of companies, including the logistics providers.
So true. Cathy, you shared a lot of advices today with us. If I asked you, what would be the last insight of yours that shippers, regardless if they are based in the United States or in India or in Europe, regardless of their size and economic capacity, what they can do to use this time effectively?
Network. I think, again, we've said a lot about social media on this chat, and it's so important to network, stay in touch with people, understand their needs, their concerns, and collaborate with them, and show some compassion. I think now's the time, and that needs to continue even after this, and be prepared, because once this is over, once the economic turns back upwards, there's going to be a lot of demand out there.
So true. It's also a fantastic opportunity to show who we truly are as business owners, what we care about outside of making profits. So I believe it's a great moment to segregate in real business owners from the ones who are only looking for the opportunities.
Amen to that. I totally agree with you.
Cathy, thank you so much. I know that you have a free gift to offer to our audience. What is it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So if anyone is interested, I would love to chat, offer at least a free hour of consulting, whether that's on research, marketing, strategy, or what have you. I'm happy to do that.
Amazing. And thank you so much for your generosity. And by the way, I forgot to mention to our audience that Cathy is super active on Twitter and as well on LinkedIn. And I follow her religiously. And your insights on the industry helping to save enormous amount of time. And I found them extremely insightful. So everybody, please connect to Cathy, in particular during these times when you are more available. Cathy, thank you so much. Before we wrap up, please tell how audience can find you, how we can follow you online.
Oh, well, you can definitely find me on social. So on Twitter, you can find me. My personal account is CM Roberson06. And my business Twitter account is LogisticsTI. And also, we have a LinkedIn page for logistics trends and insights. The website is logisticsti.com. You can also email me at croberson@logisticsti.com. But honestly, the best way to get me, reach out on Twitter or LinkedIn, and I will respond really fast. So.
Super cool. Super cool. Thank you so much for everything that you do for our industry and for your time today dedicated to share insights. And it has been a great pleasure to connect with you.
Oh, thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.